Yeah. Cool. Okay, we're good. We're golden. We're live. Everything seems okay. I'm gonna quickly state it on my doohickey Twitter, and then we'll get into it. Today, what we're going to be doing is 2000s, 2010 Adult Swim programming. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm doing everything correctly here. Give me one moment. Okay. Uh-oh. Give me just a second. I'm still got a lot of things that I'm having issues with, technical difficulties, but while I'll wait for people to get in here, I'm just gonna say there was a lot of my childhood was coming home from school all depressed and kind of just staying up late. So I was watching a lot of Adult Swim in the early to mid 2000s, late 2000s, and so we got I just went through the whole roster of all the shows ever played on Adult Swim, and oh my goodness, I'm gonna tell you right now, yeah, apparently I've watched pretty much all of it. There's maybe 10 shows that I've never heard of, and maybe a total of 15 I didn't really like of the ones that I have seen. But I got a list 2 pages long of shows I want to talk about. Let me just double check I did this right. Hold on, let me figure out how to do this. And if you're watching a VOD, there should be a skip ahead. I'm gonna try and figure out how to start doing that from now on. Give me 1 second. Let me mute that and do this. And hopefully that doesn't affect anything because that's muted. Yeah. Let me just grab the share. And copy. Yes, I'm doing things right, I believe. There. Yep. Cool. Okay. I know I post a lot of links on my Twitter and I delete them after I'm done using them. I usually leave one later, but from what I've always heard, you're supposed to make sure people know you're live when you're live. Oh my goodness, we're already 3 minutes in and I haven't even done anything. I'm sorry. Anyway, there's some things that I've done that are really cool that I really want to show off. I did not get the script completely together today. I only got half of. It's mostly a list. It ain't even a script. I just need things to bounce off of, I can talk forever and to be super annoying, but I can get really in depth into things as long as I can keep track of what I'm talking about. So lists, bullet points, great for speeches. That's how I'm doing this. Tap. Will you sign my petition? Anyway. I didn't really have Cartoon Network until probably 2004. So a lot of these went past me. Baby Blues, I never even knew existed. I'll be honest, Baby Blues, never knew it happened. This whole Oli creation and development, skip over that because I don't know nothing about it and I can't find much. Oh yeah, there's the second page. Acquired programming, we'll get into that later. But original programming by William Street's production, or at least funded by William Street's production. We got from 2000, starting from 2001 to 2010 of all their original programming. I think there's like maybe a couple things I left out, like Minora Team. I didn't even know that existed, so that's not on the list. There might be 2 other things that's not on the list. But overall, we're going to be going through the original programming of Adult Swim, all their original programs by William Street or funded by William Street Production. I mean, we got the list here. We can just skim over it really quick, and then we'll go to the lounge. So there's Space Ghost Coast to Coast. 2001, there's Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Home Movies, The Brack Show, C-Lab 2021, Harvey Boldman, Attorney at Law, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. 2002, they started playing Baby Blues, Mission Hill, The Oblongs, Venture Brothers started in 2003. So 2003 was Venture Brothers, Stroker and Hoop, Perfect. Nope. Actually, just Venture Brothers. Whoa. I'm going way too fast here. I'm sorry. 2004 was Stroker and Hoop and Perfect Hair Forever. Tom Goes to the Mayor. 2005 introduced a lot of them with Moral Oral, Robot Chicken, Squidbillies, 12-Ounce Mouse, Lucy, Daughter of the Devil. 2006 we got Metalocalypse, Frisky Dingo, Assy McGee, The Drinky Crow Show. Drinky Crow Show, sorry, 2007. So 2007 we got Drinky Crow Show, Super Jail, Xavier, Renegade Angel, oh boy, Saul of the Moleman, Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job, Fat Guy Stuck in the Internet. I got a lot to say about that. I got a lot to say about a lot of these. 2008 brought us Declassified, literally the only thing that came out there then. The rest was acquired programming. 2009 Titan Maximum, only thing that they released that year. 2010 Mary Shelley Frankenhole and Check It Out with Dr. Steve Barul, or whatever his name is, that weird guy with the red hair. So that's our listing for today. All the anime and all the Fox block. That I get a few honorable mentions too that'll come up later, but the Fox block and the anime block of Toonami, that is all acquired programming. That'll be next stream. So, or maybe 2 streams from now. Depends on how far we get. So, I am proud to present something that I've worked really hard on. Behold my transition. We're going to the lounge. So come with me, and you'll see a world of pure imagination. Take a look into your imagination. Yep, here we are. Look at my painting up there, bold and brash. Yeah, bold and brash. I repainted it, took about 4 hours on that, and took the rest of this, took about 5 hours. I'm thinking about adding a plant in the corner, and maybe a wine rack. We need a wine rack and plants. Maybe a little more texture on that wall behind me, but the wine bottle's a little in the way. Maybe I'll shuffle that around. Well, no, then I can't reach my glass. I didn't get to the store today to get no wine. I'm a little uptight. My butthole's puckered. So, anyway. Let me just check one thing. We may end up moving from the lounge into drawing if I feel like it, but that's if the show goes that long. So far we got no viewers, so it don't really matter. But We're 10 minutes in. Let's get into the discussion regardless. So, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, I knew people who liked it, along with the Brack Show. They liked the Brack Show. I didn't really get it, but then again, they were like, the person that I was hanging out with that liked that show was like 35, and I was like 12, I don't know, hell, what was I, 17? So they were a bit older than me. They understood the reference, what the cartoon they were parodying, so they liked it a bit more. Home Movies was still playing. Home Movies was playing late into 2004 from 2001. That was one of their original, featuring Brendan Smalls, which we'll talk about again later. I like Brendan Smalls, not just the character, but the man. That's actually the name of the guy who created the show, and he created another show we'll get into later. But Home Movies was a good one, where Space Ghost Coast to Coast was like a talk show parody of a superhero and supervillains and something about superhero in space, I don't know. And Brack Show was like the aliens living a life on Earth, like, oh, we're just normal people here. Yeah, I didn't get any of that. Home Movie was a lot more original, about a kid. He made movies, and he really liked making movies, but he was also kind of, he was a shallow, well, not shallow, more pedantic. Well, how do I describe it? He was like melancholy. He's like, I'm wasting all my, I don't get it. I'm wasting my youth on these movies, and no one's watching them because I'm recording them in a basement, in my mother's basement, and with my friends, and like, and Coach McGulk, oh boy, I like Coach McGulk. He's the same voice actor as Archer, Bob's Burgers, Joe on Family Guy, I believe. I like Coach McGulk. Yeah, he's like Brendan, you're a kid. Do kid things. You see that soccer field? I'm your soccer coach. Go play soccer. It's like you're throwing the game. But yeah, Home Movies was a good one. C-Lab 2021 was kind of like the Brack Show. They took the characters from like C-Lab 2001, I believe, and they jutted them forward like another 20 years to make it like more relevant by throwing them in the future of 2021, because when C-Lab 2021 came out, C-Lab 2001, well, it was irrelevant because the year was 2001. So they threw them in the distant future of 2021. So, pushed them ahead another 20 years. But anyway, they just, cut the characters, and they interacted. It got into shenanigans. Hesh was voiced by MC Chris. Oh God, I love Hesh. It's like, so Hesh, what makes you think you're gonna be a good father? Hesh wants sex. Then they turned the casino, or turned the C-Lab into underwater casino as a theme to get people to come and show up. And oh boy, a bunch of old ladies were playing the slot machines, and Hesh walked up to them like, "Hey ladies, are your slots loose?" Wait, no, that didn't come out right. It's Ethel. I think he's what was it? It's like, I think he's coming on to us. Like, no. I'm asking how hot your box was. Damn it. No, I mean, you stick it in the slot. I mean, you grab the handle and you pull, and all the stuff comes out. Damn it. Like, I think he's... Oh, I can't say that word. Like, jackpot. It's like, I think he's stupid, Ethel. Jackpot. And like, oh boy. Words we can't use no more. Presented to you by by presented by, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, C-Lab 2021 was a little weird. Captain Malfi was like completely childish. That was a weird show. It was one of the better ones. I didn't really get into Harvey Boldman, Attorney at Law. That was another one. You know, they took Harvey Boldman, and they made him a lawyer. They made his sidekick another lawyer. One guy was the judge. Then his rival became a rival lawyer in the cases as the prosecutor, and he'd be the defense attorney for like the Jetsons and the Simpsons and any other Hanna-Barbera cartoon. A lot of these were like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, you know, that they got the rights to play with. The only Adult Swim was a lot of Hanna-Barbera, where they took the cartoons, they cut out the characters, and then they just kind of moved them around and basically played paper dolls. So yeah. One of the originals that came out, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Number one in the hood, G. Yeah. People think Aqua Teen Hunger Force is like really random, but if you look back at like the first only episodes, the first 3 episodes of Aqua Teens, it actually had a plot. They were detectives, and they were like running their own detective agency and trying to like solve a mystery. There was actually an ongoing mystery. I think it was eventually gonna lead to Dr. Weird, because Dr. Weird was always in the intro, and it's like he has that assistant, and he's like, Dr. Weird, what's with the corn? It's just normal corn. And like, okay. He walks up to it, and it like locks onto him and shoots into him and into his chest and blows into popcorn. Fills him with popcorn, and he blows up, and like, I lied. It wasn't normal corn. Anyway, I think the overarching thing was going to lead to Dr. Weird, where they found Dr. Weird, and he was like, I don't know. They were chasing some robot rabbit that had like perfume that turned everything hairy. But eventually, Aqua Teens became the random and chaotic mess that we always known it to be. That was the original block of original programming by William Street Productions for Adult Swim. Moving on to their expansion of Baby Blues, Mission Hill, and the Oblongs the next prior year, in 2002. I liked the Oblongs. The Oblongs was kind of funny. From what I heard, that was actually, what was his name? I don't want to say, not Willem Dafoe. It's I don't know. Is that one Will Ferrell? Will Ferrell. I never thought that was Will Ferrell. That does not sound like Will Ferrell. He does good voice acting, believe it or not, when he's not screeching. But yeah, the poor people that live in the valley, that's completely toxic from all the chemicals that rich people basically pump down the hill from their mansions, and they're all mutated. It was like the plebeians versus the autocracy. I think autocracy, is that a good word? I don't want to say aristocrats, because they weren't really politicians. They're more there's a word for it. No, nobility. Not really. Maybe aristocrat's a good word. But yeah, the dad had no arms or legs. He was basically just a nugget, and one of his daughter had a weird growth on her head, and the 2 of his sons were conjoined twins, and then this one son that wasn't a conjoined twin, he was just weird. Milo was weird. The mother was an alcoholic. But what was weird was Milo had all these friends. What was it? Scary Susie? Scary Susie. Oh boy. She was just the pale one that was all goth. It's like they defended their one episode. They for some reason the rich kids wanted to bone down their clubhouse, and Milo saved the day with a hose and got them wet, and then they lost their motivation and left. And what ended up happening was they turned around like, Milo, you saved the day. It's like the clubhouse is saved. Like, oh. And they turned around, the clubhouse boning to ashes, and it's just lazy Susie or Scary Susie's standing there with a match, and she's like, I have a problem. But it's like, it's okay, Milo. When life gets hard, I just pull out my pet clam. Like the other goal with like a retainer and a speech impediment from the retainer. It's like, that's a coin pulse. You're like, oh, life gives me one blow after another. It was just really weird. Like the episode, there's a really weird episode of the Oblongs where Milo ran for student president against, like, all the popular girls were named Betty or Debbie. All the popular girls were Debbie. I remember when I was in school, all the popular girls were Haley. And for some reason, some girls like a few years older than me that I talked to, they're like, oh, the popular girls in our generation or our class was always the Jennifers. But anyway, the popular girls was like a hold of Debbies. Just, it's like, hi Debbie, hi Debbie, hi Debbie, hi Debbie. But anyway, Milo ran against a Debbie for school president, and he won, or something happened, and he accidentally knocked her into like a weed thresher or something, and she got shredded. But it turns out she lived, and the parents are like, we need your help. How do you deal with a physically impaired child? Like, I don't see what you're saying. The dad's like, he has no arms or legs. Like, what do you mean? Physically impaired? What's that? But yeah, Debbie was ugly because it's like, this is after the plastic surgery. They're like, we just need to cut to the chase. It's like we try to be civil, but you came here with your beans. I really like the Oblongs. That was a good one. I'm really getting into Baby Blues right now. I've watched like 3 episodes of Baby Blues. I need to find the rest of them. Oh my gosh, I don't have Dilbert on here, man. Dilbert, I think, might have been an acquired program. I haven't got through that list. We'll have to get back to Dilbert. But anyway, we're going to stick with Baby Blues. Baby Blues was about a mother and father that has a baby, and they have the babysitter, and, you know, just things happen. Their next door neighbors are a little bit more trashy. The next door neighbors are like, you know, they already have like 2 or 3 kids running around causing havoc, and they're a little more run down, but it's just little adventures of, oh my gosh, we got to take care of the baby. It's like, how do we do this with the baby? And like, I don't know. It was weird. It's cute. It's really cute. It's got a comic book vibe like Dilbert. I know people don't want to hear me say Dilbert, but I mean, I'm a business administration major. If I need something relatable, I got to relate to Dilbert. I'm sorry. I know the creator's kind of been a joke in the last 3 years, but back in the early 2000s, he really understood the corporate landscape and really made fun of it. Oh God, I hate business, but that's what I'm learning. But anyway, one more show from 2002 was Mission Hill. It was a Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein production. They were, I want to say Ollie Simpson's writers, but not really. They were like more like the second generation of Simpsons writers. They went and made their own show. It was going to be called The Downtowners, but The Downtowners was kind of too similar to Downtown, which was a MTV show at the time, with a lot of the same stuff going on. But anyway, Mission Hill was about a younger brother moving in with his older brother in the city into an apartment building from his home with his parents, leaving home from parents to brother in apartment building with roommates, inner city schools from cul-de-sac schools, there's this big leap. He's like learning how the world walks. He's no longer sheltered. And it's just presented as, it's like, I'm the older brother, you douchebag. It's like, you gotta listen and respect me. And the younger brother's like, Andy, you don't know how to budget. It's just, so it's like the younger one's more responsible, but he doesn't understand how the world walks. And the older one is like lost he's like not responsible, but he's like so downtrodden that he's just like whatever. I love that the older brother walks at a mattress store and he has this like crazy Armenian boss who's like he walks into the boss's office. Ron, we gotta do a refund. Can you approve it? And like, no refund. No refund. Like he starts rubbing his face. Like, I was like, that's powder from donuts. Powder donuts. I've been eating powdered donuts. It's like, now where's all the money in the register? Like, you took it this afternoon. Like, I don't remember. And you see him outside smashing a riding horse, and he's like, give me your money, you stupid horse. But yeah, there's all these dynamics going on. Like the younger brother, Kevin, has made kind of naughty friends and also has acquaintances at school. They all have acquaintances, and if you like look into like the lore or not the lore, I'll be honest, Bill Oakley is. Or is it Bill Oakley? Hold on. I think it's something Oakley, one of the producers. He is very proud of that show. Tom Kenny is one of the gay neighbors. SpongeBob, yep. He does the SpongeBob voice and everything. Before, this was like, SpongeBob was still not taking off yet. Or, I mean, it was kind of popular, but it wasn't like solidified. Like SpongeBob was probably on season 2 or 3, but anyway, how do I put it? Everything was planned out. Bus schedules, the whole town was mapped the bus schedules were made. Stores had open and closed hours. Everything had a schedule. It was for the show was actually built around like, how you'd play like an RPG or an augmented reality. What is it like? What are those? RPG? Or not? What are they? Those weird things where it's like you pretend it's like a different universe. They built a whole universe with store hours, bus schedules. The town was mapped. Everything was by distance. If they had to go somewhere far away, that could take more time, and the time change would shift, and the scenery and the lighting. Oh, the lighting, the way they lit it, everything. Anytime there was a dark scene, they'd use a lot of blues, a lot of cool colors to draw it. Anytime there was daytime, they'd use warmer colors. They did a good job. Mission Hill was a good show with a good idea. And it didn't survive. It didn't even get one season. They were on the last 3 episodes and it got canceled. So Mission Hill, good show from 2002. 2003, only Venture Brothers. Venture Brothers, there's a lot about the Venture Brothers that was cool. The Venture Brothers, they've really expanded upon it. They went with like, Venture Brothers is like C-Lab 2021, but with their own original characters. And they really expanded upon it in the later seasons. Really got the lore right. The earlier episodes were very hit and miss, bouncing around. They were just not really much world building as much as it was just introducing the characters. I think it was the mid seasons they put more into making the characters who they are. And then in the later seasons, they're really throwing in a lot of lore in the later seasons and really expanding the universe with new characters and new locations. It was very interesting. It was super scientists versus evil villains for no reason whatsoever, except that everyone's a rich college dropout, or half of them, some of them were dropouts. Everyone was like a rich college student. Everyone was like a rich trust fund baby who went to college, made a ton of money, and had nothing better to do than to pretend to be the scientist that their father was, or to act out their aggression through being a supervillain with a secret organization, or a super soldier with a through the military that's like beyond spies. And it's like, it was weird. It was really weird. But I do like that they finally originally the Venture Brothers, I forget their name, Dean and can't remember the second one, dang it. The 2 Venture Brothers, the sons of the scientist, who's actually the son of a famous scientist. You know, it was like, they were clones. They could literally kill them off at any time. They eventually killed that crutch by killing the clone army. They had a whole section of clones. They eventually just wiped out their clones and made them into actual characters, and I like that. Great show. The early seasons are very, very mid. I mean, it's okay. The mid seasons were really good, and then the later seasons, they're really just expanding, and you've already got the good stuff's in the middle seasons, I think, with Venture Brothers. Some weird stuff happened in 2004. 2004, we had Stroker and Hoop, Perfect Hair Forever, and Tom Goes to the Mayor. I've done said what I like about Perfect Hair Forever, but I muted myself in that stream. That was... I'm gonna save that one for last. So, Tom Goes to the Mayor. I could not watch it. I am sorry. I could not watch it. I could not stand it. It was just something grating about it. You had these like pin drawings of characters, or they're supposed to look like pin drawings. It looked like photos that were like really toned down on the contrast, or toned up on contrast, and then they changed the black to a blue to give it like that pin sketched look. And it just, I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. I have no clue what it was about. I just could not get into it. I'm sorry. Stroker and Hoop. Stroker and Hoop was a Starsky and Hutch parody about 2 bounty hunters who were like or private detectives or something. I think they're private detectives. Stroker was a gingered, afroed, bushy mustache guy. They had a car that was kind of like Kit from Knight Rider, except he was a smartass. And Hoop was like this really mellow guy who's like, they get into shootouts and it's like, Stroker, I got a confession to make. Whenever we fought bad guys, I would always shoot right above their heads. He was scared to shoot him. There's a skit that me and my friend always make fun of. They went to interview a rapper, Preposterous, in the club, and they go and meet him. It's like Mr. Preposterous, you are, we're investigating this thing. We believe you're a suspect. We have these tapes that show that you might have been involved. And he's like, I couldn't have been on them. No. Or we're looking for the tapes. They've been stolen. Like, I couldn't have stolen them tapes. For I was at home eating grapes. Were you really at home eating grapes, or did you just say that to rhyme? What you doing in my club? I don't want you in my club. Like, you just rhymed club with club. You can't do that. It was stupid. Anyway, the Perfect Hair Forever. That's the one I want to talk about from 2004. Perfect Hair Forever. Uncle Grandfather, I'm come to you, for I seek perfect hair forever. Gerald, I shall teach you the unbalding ways. Like, I bet the other kids, or no, it's like, Uncle Grandfather, the kids at my school, they laugh and make fun of me. Like, that's bad. Like, I bet they call you names. Like, Boldenum. Boldenum and Ning Nang. Like, no. But they do throw things at me. Gerald, I shall teach you the unbalding ways. But beware the coiffed one. Who? Coiffio. Who? Coiffio. Like who? Like, sit down. And he chucks the table at him and knocks him onto the floor. And then this like anime girl in like a way too skimpy dress walks in with a tray of hamburgers, and he's like, Brenda, put hamburgers high on shelf. Higher. Hamburgers should be high on shelf. And he starts laying on the floor. Yeah, that show is weird. Can you get this? Oh yeah. Can you get this vacuum cleaner to fudge this cake? Yeah. Fudge. It was like a really bad parody of an anime, and they even did that thing where you're like watching, and then somewhere between episode 5 and episode 6, they're just like, episode 6 happens, and it's like, episode 5, they're like, we're going to battle, the great battle is starting, and then episode 6, it's like, wow, that sure was an epic battle. It's a shame if anybody missed it. It reminds me of like Toonami, the Toonami block. They were basically making fun of how the Toonami block would play like episode 2 or episode 1 at 8 o'clock at night, and then play episode 2 at 3 in the morning. And then the next night you'd watch episode 3 at 8, and you're like, what the hell happened? Why did we just skip episode 3 or episode 2? Why did we go straight from episode 1 to episode 2 the next night? Or why did we go from episode 1 to episode 3 at 8 o'clock last night to 8 o'clock this night? Because at 3 a.m. they decided to play episode 2. So it's like, unless you're a complete night owl, you would always like have lapses in episodes because they would play them in order, but they would play them in order at like 8 p.m., 3 a.m., and then 8 p.m. So you'd have to stay up all night to catch them. They'd do that. That's why I never got into Inuyasha. But Perfect Hair Forever made fun of that. They made fun of a lot of anime tropes. Yeah, the coiffed one, Coiffio. It's like astronomical cat or something like. What was the? He summoned a true. Oh, there was Rod, the anime god. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. There was so much going on in that show. Let's see where we're sitting on time. Okay, 2000. We're probably gonna get through 2005 and drop off there and pick up next stream with 2006. 2005, Adult Swim introduced Moral Oral, Robot Chicken, Squidbillies, 12-ounce mouse, 12-ounce mouse, and Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil. That one was kind of interesting. We're gonna save that for last, or Moral Oral for last. We're gonna go by irrelevant to me. So, 12-ounce mouse. I saw a few episodes. It kind of reminded me of like the Drinky Crow show, except it was like less. You know, instead of him drinking, it was like, well, maybe not so much the Drinky Crow show. It was like 12-ounce mouse was like about a mouse who was always running around with a bottle of Jack Daniels and a gun and causing havoc. Drinky Crow was more like 12-ounce mouse was more rage, drunken rage, where Drinky Crow was more drunken depression, which we'll get into that next stream. But yeah, 12-ounce mouse. I didn't really watch much of it. It was just an angry mouse running around, drinking, getting into trouble, as far as I could tell. As much as I could remember, really. But Robot Chicken, what can we say? It was Seth Green. It was Seth Green's side project that he was funding basically with his Family Guy money. Where he basically plays with action. Hell, Seth MacFarlane made fun of Seth Green in a Family Guy episode about Robot Chicken. It's like Peter's like Peter, voiced by Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, and Chris, voiced by Seth Green, who is a creator of Robot Chicken. In an episode of Family Guy, got in an argument. Peter's like, Peter, aka Seth MacFarlane, yeah, I did not like Robot Chicken. I mean, what is that? They're just playing with dolls and making fun of stuff and acting stupid and fart jokes. I'm not a fan. And Seth Green, Chris, he's like, listen, they're a budget show. They're just making observation humor, and that claymation animation takes a lot of work and effort. They're putting a lot of work and effort into the show, and Peters is like, no, I just don't see it. And to tell you the truth, Robot Chicken was just silly skits that they threw together with action figures and clay. And while I can say they probably put some effort into them, Robot Chicken lacks any kind of subtleness or nuance, or it was very in your face, dark and dirty humor. I mean, it's lowbrow, but they did put in a lot of work. But whatever. Squidbillies, 2005, Squidbillies. a bunch of squids in, I think it was Alabama or something. Or was it Tennessee? Tennessee or Alabama. A bunch of squids. They're hillbillies. Dad, a son, a grandma, the drunk wife, or the drunk new wife, because there was also the fat ex-wife, and then there's the sheriff who's constantly being called, and he's just some random white guy. I still love that part. It's like the sheriff comes to the house. It's like, Ollie, this is the 12th time I've been called down here this week. What's going on? Like, oh no, is this about the drugs I'm growing? And like, no, those are small potatoes. Oh, thank goodness. No, I mean literally, those are small potatoes. And like, what? And like, yeah, you could probably bake them. They'd probably taste good. They're just small, tiny potatoes. Like, it's like, Ollie was like going on a rant about the white man. It's like, oh goodness. It's like, Ollie, I'm white. Like, you're what to the what now? Like, yep, I'm white as a Vidalia onion and twice as sweet. Like, and the Doobie Brothers are white too. The Doobie Brothers in the China Grove? Squidbillies was a good one. It got a little weird. I like how there's like that weird businessman who's like somewhere between a sass. He's got really big feet and he's hairy and he never wears any clothes except for a tie. And he's always like coming up with these like terrible business ideas that would like he put 24 wings on he mutated a chicken through gene splicing to add 24 wings to a chicken, remove the beak, all the feathers, and you could basically eat them live. And it caused everyone in the town to get tumors. It was a weird show. Ollie ended up becoming like a Jim Jones figure in one episode, and he built a wall to keep the Mexicans off his property, and he hired the Mexicans to do it, and he sent his son out, and he didn't come back with food like he was supposed to, and all he got was a letter that they couldn't read because none of them could read, and it's like, "Dear Dad, I met a wonderful lady named something, whatever. I can't think of the name. Like, she's a wonderful woman, and we've had 3 children. Now you're probably wondering how we did that in 2 weeks, but it happened. Anyway, life outside the wall is great. I've come to realize that the real monster was you. And everyone is celebrating that you've been walled in and you can no longer harass them. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful life." It was a weird show. Let's see. Lucy, Daughter of the Devil also came out in 2005. Lucy, Daughter of the Devil was about a girl named Lucy. She, looked kind of like how do I put it lightly? She was kind of like she had the Reddit glasses, and she wasn't beautiful. She had little horns, a little tail. Her dad was the devil. She just wanted to live a normal life. And she was always hanging around Jesus because Jesus was there, but he just wanted to be a DJ. He was there for his second coming, and he just wanted to be his DJ. And she's hanging out with him, and she's like, "It's like, Dad, he's cool." And like, "No, I don't want you hang." Oh my God, I think he was voiced by. Oh God, I gotta look this up. I think he was voiced by the same voice actor who did Bob Spolgers in all of them. He's like, "No, I don't want you hanging out with him. He's not, I don't think he's a good influence." And it's like, it's like it was weird. The dad was always trying to come up with ways to lead people astray. Like he bought a bowling alley, and his secretary was just like, it's like, ain't this great? He's like, ain't this great? I bought a bowling alley. And like, yes, but how does this tone people to the to hell, to sin? Like, we sell beer. What are you talking about? We're basically a bar. And like, I mean, I get where you're going with that, but a bowling alley? And like, no, you don't get it. People come here for fun and they drink. Things happen. Like, it's a bowling alley. You're not looking at the big picture. It was weird. It was a weird show. Let's see, characters. The devil, voiced by John Benjamin. John Benjamin. Yep, there we go. I knew it. Archer, Bob's Burgers. He's Archer, Bob Belcher, Kevin, the son of, or Ben the son of Dr. Katz, professional therapist. That's a good show. Yeah, this guy's done everything. I just started voicing, pretending to voice him, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's like I could hear his voice in my head. But yeah, same guy. Anyway, it's getting late. Last one I want to talk about here. Moral Oral. Came out in 2005, ended in 2012. Moral Oral was about a boy, a Christian boy in a Christian town in Morrilton. Uh-oh. Let me check my stream health. No, we're having issues. I'm glitchy. Oh. Anyway, Moral Oral was about a Christian boy in a Christian town in Morrilton, state of Soda. And according to my map, if you were to overlay a state, a U.S. map over that, I'd be living right in Morrilton. I'll tell you what, the layout of my town ain't much different than Morrilton. I pretty much live in Morrilton, state of Soda. I figured that out a long time ago. But anyway, Moral Oral really helped me as a person because it taught me something. Nobody's perfect. Everyone's hiding something. All the normal people are hiding something. In Moral Oral, the one person who isn't hiding anything was like the girl that ran the sex shop and piercing shop, and they're like, the townspeople like, why do you hang out with her? She's different. And he's like, well, you see, she's warm. And the dad's like, warm? We're Christians. We have the luxury of not being warm. We have the luxury of being cold. It's like, you're either like us or you're not. And basically, and he's like, it's like, so the dad's like, she must be hiding something. Like, no, she's pretty straightforward about everything. But it got really weird. It got into all sorts of situations where it's like, as you got into the later seasons, it got really dark, and there's a lot of controversy there with the network. But it really dig deep into how do I put it? Everyone in that town had an issue. You watched that show, and it went through every single individual in that town, and everyone in that town had a deep, dark secret. The only one who didn't have a deep, dark secret, well, for the most part, was the girl running the piercings and toy shop. But anyway, it was, how do I put, enlightening to see how it projected that a town full of Christians that go to church every Sunday, and then they come out of church and then they go straight to the bar, or they go, or it's like the mother, there's so many different characters. There's just so many characters, it's hard to choose one to focus on. I think the best one to focus on, other than Oral, the young boy who's the main character, who's trying to learn life lessons and moral lessons every episode, where he ends up trying to do right, but all the good people lead him astray because they don't want to tell him exactly what's wrong or exactly the morality of it. They're like, oh, he's too young, he won't get it. So they're like, well, you see, Oral, it's like this because, everybody, people ain't like that. Well, people are like that. Well, more Oral would get it wrong and go and do something stupid. And they're like, why did you do that? Well, by what everyone told me and what I could configure out of that, I should have been doing this. And like, no, that's the exact opposite. Like, oh. Like, yeah. Like, wow, I'm glad. Oh my God, am I even there? I am like struggling here. This may end up being like a different part, but anyway, Oral was very open about everyone has issues. Nobody has it figured out. The people hiding the most are the so-called normal people that fit into society. That's how they fit into society, was the fact that they pretend to not have issues, even though they have probably more, which gives them more issues than if they would have acknowledged their issues and not fit in. When all these people around you are containing, are, how do I put, compressing, they're hiding, they're stuffing their feelings and their personality deep down to hide it, to appear normal. And that, as to quote Clay Puffington, it builds a poison in you, which it builds a poison in you, which poisons the people around you and the ones you love. Trying to defend them from all the hyenas and jackals around you. Oh God. But yeah, I really like that show. It gave you an inside look of how the suppression of individuality forced on people by society to fit into society, to make society work, is actually very toxic for individuals. It was a very interesting show. But anyway, I am having some major frame rate issues over here. And that was the end of 2005. We went from 2001 to 2005. If you thought this was interesting, show up for part 2 next week. And I want to tell you just to have a good day and goodbye. Voice cracked. Uh-oh, hold on. Bum, 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 da, 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 na, 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 na. Hold on. I gotta get all these things in order. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking Meow, 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 meow. Yep. Okay. Every day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me.